A local favorite craft beer as a sorbet. Who would have think of this? Well, our friends at Dough, of course, and Alicia Wolding is back to show us their unique and delicious dessert. I am so confused because we were talking about beer and sorbet, and I'm seeing a mixer. What I think
we got some liquid nitrogen,
liquid
yes,
nitrogen,
in its liquid state.
Some pretty cool sunglasses.
Yeah, for safety, of course.
This are
only partly fashion.
What are we doing today?
Okay, so we're gonna make a high-life sorbet, and so what I've done already is I've made my base, which is equal parts sugar and liquid. So for the liquid, I used high-life beer, and I did a little bit of lemon juice, and now I'm making a mess. That's okay.
Hey, you're making me feel better about my skills in the kitchen, Alicia.
Let's just get a half all over the kitchen.
Lie.
I mean, we wouldn't be having fun if we weren't making a mess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the mixer, and while it's mixing, I'm going to be adding the liquid nitrogen to it. So you might be like freaking out, like, oh my God, are you gonna get burned? Is this even safe to do?
And so I've seen other places attempt to do this, but I've never been involved. So yeah, a little concerned, especially since one, you say you've got our safety goggles, and two, you do have gloves that you were using.
Gloves.
But you told me I didn't need any gloves, which kind of worries me.
Kind of worries you, right? So it's really important that you don't get this in a part of your skin like a shoe that doesn't have room to move around, because when you pour it.
Note to self, don't pour in my shoe.
Look, I'm pouring it right now, totally fine. You see it kind of like totally dissipating?
Yeah.
It's because it has the room to move around. So it's when it gets in your shoe that doesn't have room to move around and you get frostbite, so we're fine.
Well, there goes my project after work. I was gonna pour in my shoe, I won't anymore. So we're mixing, and now here goes the liquid.
Here we go. So I'm gonna start this mixing. I'm not gonna pour it in without it mixing, because if I were to do that, it would just turn into a big ice cube before it even got a chance to mix around.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do is about 3-to-1 ratio. So I don't expect many of you to make this at home, but if you do, with the right supervision, it's gonna be 1 part of your liquid base and 3 parts of your liquid nitrogen. So I'm gonna slowly pour this in.
Okay, now here, me being the skeptic and love how you guys do it at Dough, you guys know how to do things for the show with your color and your style and your size of things. With that said, is this necessary, the liquid nitrogen, or is this just something that like looks really cool and you guys do it the cool way?
It's just really cool. So you guys can see how we actually make it. We make it in ice cream machines that kind of do this process for us, but without the liquid nitrogen. So it can freeze it while churning it, and that takes time. So to speed things up, we can show you how to do it with liquid nitrogen.
I love it. This is the speeding up method, folks.
This is it. And you can actually, there's a lot of really cool things you can do with liquid nitrogen. Like you could dip marshmallows in it for like 5 seconds and then put it in your mouth, and it won't burn your mouth, but it will make you like breathe smoke like a dragon. So
which everybody wants to do that.
Or give it to your dog, see how he reacts to that.
I gotta say, the ideas that we're coming with, how do you know how much you're pouring in though? Like I can't even see the bottom of it.
It's hard to tell, right? I guess experience and just knowing that I have the right amount of liquid to start with.
Because I'm nervous. I'm like, is this gonna overflow?
You hear it? Those are the ice chunks. You can hear it starting to solidify, and it's gonna continue to incorporate. And we'll let that, so you can see it.
For our next segments coming up, I hope they don't mind a studio full of smoke.
It'll be gone by then. The smoke is actually not the liquid nitrogen. This is steam created from the humidity in the air condensing as the liquid nitrogen hits it, because this is negative 323 degrees Fahrenheit, and when it hits the air, being Florida especially, the humidity makes it go crazy.
So time out, Alicia, I gotta say, I'm always amazed at your pastry skills and the passion that you bring for like decorating. You always try to have me decorate, and I always do a terrible job, but you've got such a passion for it. Did you ever know you were gonna be also being like Mr. Science?
I didn't.
Mr. Wizard? I mean,
no,
you're in those categories.
Where did this come from, right?
Yes.
I would say definitely Alton Brown helped me with that. I don't know if anyone's seen Good Eats or his science shows, but he really helped me appreciate the love for it. And while in school, making messes and messing up, I'm like, you know, why is this happening? Why is this bread not coming out? Why is this cupcake not baking right? It really pushed me to want to know the whys, like why is this not happening? And from there, science. Baking is totally a science.
And no wonder I'm not good at baking. I'm never good at science either. It's all starting to add up for me now.
Yes, that's why exact measurements are always so important, and why.
Well, especially with something like this. Speaking of, though, we're starting to wrap on time. How are we doing?
We're looking good. We're looking good. You can see the creaminess in it if I.
And I was going to say, this is getting on me. It's not burning. So you're right about that.
You see it starting to thicken up? Looking a little bit like ice cream. We're getting to that sorbet consistency.
Oh, wow.
It's really cool, right? It happens so fast. So then I can whip it up a little bit faster, get out those clumps. we'll be able to taste it.
I was gonna say, I'm getting counted down. Am I gonna be able to taste it right now, Alicia?
We're gonna find out. We're so close. It takes time. Usually this takes about 10 minutes for a big batch, but we're trying to speed it up for you.
Which we always appreciate. Now, I've got to ask too, in closing, is this something that people can enjoy at Dough for themselves?
We are going to have it in the summer. I believe within the next month we'll have it in our cases, and so you can enjoy the refreshment of a beer as a sorbet.
And is this something that you can do with any beer?
You could do with any beer, absolutely. Anything that's around the 5% alcohol volume.
That's the key. Okay, am I going to get to try it?
Let's try it.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Remembered spoons and everything.
Yes. All right.
Here we go. Quickly, as we are heading out.
Yes.
Tastes exactly like the beer.
Summer.
Good stuff. Thank you so
Awesome.
much
You're
as always,
welcome.
and thank you for not burning me as well. Always a blast.